On this installment of Super's Corner, we will present the Academy of Architecture and Contemporary Design. This is a pioneering vocational academy within High-Tech High School in North Bergen. This academy immerses the students in a design-oriented community of learners. We will talk with Gregory Simon, supervisor of this project-based school, right here on Super's Corner. Welcome to Super's Corner, Hudson County Schools of Technology, and with our superintendent, Frank Argiulo. It's all about our students, our programs, and our faculty. And with us, we have some special guests. We have Gregory Simon, the supervisor of the Academy of Architecture and Contemporary Design, or known as AACT, right? Mm-hmm. And a senior, are you, or?
Sophomore.
Sophomore, Kathy Osorio. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Frank, as we usually do, we start off the segments with you. Kind of tell us a little bit about AACT, to give us a little overview of it.
Well, you know, it's like just the history of the school district here since the last 20 years I've been around, of trying to attract kids by their interest. And ACT was one of our newest ones in the last 5 or 8 years that we decided and evolved into what it is today, which is a wonderful program. But it's a program that originally wrapped around architect, and now it's a little bit bigger than that. There's a piece of engineering in there, there's a piece of a lot of it. In any event, what's in there are the skills that kids need in the 21st century. It's not so much about the name of the school, it's more about what's taking place inside the school. And I think Greg and Kathy will discuss more deeply what that's about. For me, it's about attracting kids based on their interest. And when kids are interested, they learn. And there is no greater, in my mind, no greater motivating force than that intrinsic piece that says, hey, I like this, I want to do it, I'm having fun doing it. That passion that drives them. So with that, I think you can hear from them.
Okay. So let's talk to the supervisor of ACT, Gregory Simon, who also teaches CAD is down there?
Yeah, it's architecture and design.
And tell us a little bit about the school quickly and, what you do.
It's hard to sum up quickly. I'll make it as brief as I can. Yeah, right. But we're a small community of just under 100 students, 25 per year. And we select students based on their interest in the arts, design, not particularly architecture, because we're not expecting 8th graders to know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. But what makes us special is that we're a smaller community. We have our own space, and it allows us to be more flexible and to help the students to, like if they have an idea or an action that they want to take, we can sort of help them to make those things possible. And we're going to end up talking about some of the special things that have happened downstairs because of that particular aspect.
Well, I know you went on a lot of field trips. I think every week you had a field trip that you went to. I think that's been cut back a little bit, but we were talking about something that you teach, which demanded like the left and the right brain working at the same time. The concrete, systematic aspect of architecture and the creative, design part. So right. That is kind of a challenge, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we get these students that are interested in design, but they're each individuals with individual strengths and differences. Mm-hmm. So we have certain students that are obviously more concrete, and right. But we have other students that are more interested in the conceptual side of the arts. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate the challenge of showing them how each of those is a very important piece when designing a building or anything really.
And briefly, your background,
Yeah, I graduated in, I think it's 2001 now, quite a while back, but with a bachelor's degree in architecture from HIT. And then I worked in the field for about 6 years in the city at a couple of different architecture firms doing a wide range of projects. And then my mom's a teacher, so I've always been interested in education, and some things sort of happened, and I found this opportunity, and I've been here since the beginning of the program, which has been 6 years now.
We lucked out. The district really
we all lucked out, I guess.
Really benefited.
Now, you've got to introduce this young lady to me, and why you brought her up with you, and
This is Kathia. She's one of our sophomores that takes the lead very often in some of the, making opportunities available to the larger community. We had a fundraiser a few weeks ago for one of our graduating students from the original class fell into some hardship, and we talked to some of the students in the different classes, and although they hadn't met that particular student, they got together and was able to do some fundraisers very quickly and make some money to be able to donate to her, to support one of our community members. So that was a very special thing, and the students that I brought up today are stand out in their willingness to contribute to the overall ACT community. So,
all right, briefly, what do you like about this program? What do you like?
I think what's so great about ACT is the fact that it's not a lot of us, but we end up being a family. There's so many different people. We're all diverse in many different ways, but we end up being a family at the end. We work together. We see each other all the time. I think it's not just the students, but the teachers as well. We've built great relationships with teachers.
All right, Kathia, thank you. We're going to have to stop right here because we're going to go see a video about ACT that Chris did, and when we come back, we'll have another student with us. But thank you for being on
No
the
problem.
show, Kathia.
Thank you. Thank you.
my name is Gregory Simon, and I am a supervisor and an instructor at the Academy of Architecture and Contemporary Themes here at High Tech High School. As a community, ACT dedicates itself to making high school a rich and meaningful experience. The curriculum follows the same standards as the rest of the curriculum at High Tech High School, but we layer in project-based learning experiences to delve deeper into concepts that typically wouldn't be addressed in a traditional high school.
My name is Mickey Diamond. I teach language arts and English down in ACT. Right now, these are the sophomores that are working on the comic book project. This is the third iteration of the comic book project, so pretty big deal. Every ACT kid has to go through it, and they all hate me equally by the end.
Hi, my name is Laura Gomez.
Hi, I'm Kathy Osario.
Hi, I'm Jordan Holtmeyer.
And we're doing our comic books. We're just starting to draw our first sketches of our characters. And we have our profile sheets.
And we're doing outlines on what to write about and how to write it.
And I'm just looking up different types of text to put into our comic book.
Yesterday we went on a trip to Sandy Hook as a part of our architecture studio project. This project has to do with biophilic design, which is when you analyze something in nature and capitalize on its design qualities to inform something that you're designing.
Well, walking like on the shore, I found this what it looks like to be a fish bones. I'm not really sure, but just from the stench, I can just guess it is, even though I applied like soap and stuff. So I don't know. I thought it was like really cool with like the jagged edges and like it's kind of like translucent in some parts, and it has like this concave like part on the inside. So I just grabbed it for like inspiration for like the buildings or how everything's going to be located on the site, because it's really like organic. But even if like when you think of like organic stuff like flowers or like the plants that were like around in the area, it's really like natural, very flowy. So this is kind of like contrasting to what you would find. So there are many ways that I can like really interpret this. So I'm just gonna investigate more on what this is.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I hope you enjoyed that video with Frank Argill, our superintendent of schools. I'm your host, John Placino. We've been talking to Gregory Simon, the supervisor of the Academy of Architecture and Contemporary Design, and we have a new student here, Laura Gomez. So, Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay. This is something Frank's always talked about, but Kathy had talked a little bit about it, and I want to expand upon it. Cultivating a community of learners, and we'll start with Frank. And how important is that? And I know it's something you stress throughout the school system.
Well, that term is probably should be reversed a little bit. It's really actually a learning organization.
Right.
Because in the world that we live in today, the organization has to learn. We as teachers are really in the same boat as the kids in a lot of ways. And the world is changing so rapidly, information is coming from all different places, that the organization itself has to be a learning community where the learning is embedded in the community. We still have traces of the fact where teachers and superintendents kind of think they know it all. We pass information down. That's no longer what the world's about. It's the opposite. It has to happen. It's got to come from bottom up, down, and all different ways, because it's just the nature of where we live. The kids know that better than us. You know, I had to learn that. They're born into that world. I'm sorry to say, but that's what it is.
So, in ACT, it's active engagement. The teachers are very personal with the students. They're encouraged to make choices and have ownership of their own education. So if you could expand a bit on that.
So we try to embed as many opportunities for students to insert their interests and their say into the projects as possible. Excuse me. There's a couple of projects I'd like to talk about, if we could. There's a Comic-Con project that we do biannually, where there's a certain theme, which this year is rising, and it's a broad theme which allows the students to interpret it the way they would want to, and to pursue their individual ideas of what that could potentially mean to them. I'll let Laura talk a little bit more about that project.
Okay, Laura.
Okay, so in Comic-Con, we were just given, okay, you need to do a comic book, and we were paired up, or some of us have groups of 3, and we were just given a theme of rising, and we were kind of given just the liberty of just choosing what we want to do. So it's fun because we get to show like what we want everybody else to know. We get to choose what we want to like everybody else to learn, like all our other classmates. So I mean, it's a good way of incorporating learning, like writing, and then also our creative side, coming up with a story and drawing the comic. And we also need to set up booths for the actual Comic-Con. So it's really fun.
So you are excited to come to school every day. You
Yes.
look forward to it?
Yes, definitely.
And your relationship with the teachers, how do you find that?
It's really good. I mean, we're, like Kathy said, we're like a family. Any problem we have, they help us out. If we're having difficulty in a project, they're there to help, each and every one of them. So, I mean, it's really good to have that kind of support system for all of us.
Okay. Started in 2005, Frank, now it's 2012. What have you seen in these 7 years since the beginning?
Well, school evolved. I think evolved into what it is today. It took a little broader theme, and not so narrow a theme. But it really is, I think the kids sum it up the best. It's meant to be that kind of school that provides an opportunity for intrinsic motivation. And the community aspect, where they talk about their teachers, with that self-help thing, I don't think you can get any better than that. I personally don't. I mean, every time I hear them talk, I feel better and better about things. I mean, you kind of dwell sometimes on some negative stuff, but that type of school is, in my mind, the model, the prototype. Because if you get into the detail of it, it's more than that. It's the teachers working together and integrating a lot of their stuff. It's them trying new stuff down here in a controlled atmosphere. It's a risk-taking place. That a lot of, I let that go down. Years ago, I used to be micromanage that place for a year, so I didn't want to ruin it. I gave it to the professionals and the kids. That's where it is today. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place, in my mind.
And you've seen it grow. You've been to the beginning, and now it's 7 years later. And where do you see it going? Or it's 2012, maybe a couple of years down the road.
Well, like Mr. G said, you sort of responsibly guided into the direction that it wants to go. Each incoming class has their own personality, their own strengths, and they in a way, they change sort of the direction of the program, but we're constantly progressing, we're constantly moving forward, and we'd like to responsibly let those things work themselves out.
Well, I've got to end it here. Laura, thank you
you.
for being on the show. Mr. Simon, thank you. Frank, as usual, our superintendent. I'm John Pacino, your host. Been watching Super's Corner, and thanks for watching.